today, actually this morning, I was on the computer and I read a story about the PlayStation Plus, the very service I use to play my games online on my PlayStation. It's kind of a shitty necessity for PlayStation users, right? Like Sony's like, you want to play online? Well, you better pay monthly. It's not enough to pay for the game, for the console. They want more money for you per month or yearly, depending on how you pay, so they can keep their service running and provide you with beautiful, great games of high quality, such and such. But it's definitely overpriced. It's that so at this moment, it's $60 for the basic essential tier of PS Plus. Now that gives you the ability to play online, multiplayer games. Games like Elden Ring. You want to play multiplayer in Elden Ring, co-op, invasions on your PlayStation. You gotta be at least a PlayStation Essential member. You know, $60 a year, and I think it's like $10 a month if you don't want to pay a year, which I don't recommend. But of course, some people may just want to try it out. Some people may not have $60 on hand, and they're just gonna pay for a couple months. But what I do is I wait for special discounts. Usually around Black Friday, there's a discount on the PlayStation Plus memberships, and these last few years I've been getting PlayStation Plus Essential for 35, 30, 40, around that, anywhere between 30 $40. So about $20 off for the year. I don't never pay more than that. But this last year I decided to try out PlayStation Plus Extra, which is the second tier, and that's as of now has been $100 a month. So I think I ended up paying the remainder of my tier. So I think I paid $40 for the year, and I already had paid around 35 or something for the essential. So in total, I paid like $75 or something for the year to try out PlayStation Extra, which gives you the ability to download certain games on their catalog. It's a rotating game catalog. So, I've been trying out different games. It's pretty cool because you get to try out different games you wouldn't have bought. And the reason I decided to join PlayStation Extra was because I was looking at a few games. I was like, I was thinking of buying Final Fantasy X-2, Secret of Mana, Scarlet. I was thinking of buying these like a few different games that were on sale, and the total was gonna be like 50 or $60 or something. And then I was like, or I can just join Extra for $40 instead, pay less, and then I can try all those games and more. And so they kind of got me with that, and so I tried it out. And then I guess in a way it was a good thing because I don't think I'll finish Final Fantasy X-2, so it would have been kind of a waste to spend a bunch of money on Final Fantasy X-2 if I wasn't even gonna play it all. I probably won't, and same thing with Secret of Mana. Like, I don't know if I want to finish that game. But the thing is that, like, if I want to keep playing those games later on, I would have to pay that price again yearly. So in the long run, I would still be paying more for those games. And what I realized is that there's a bunch of games on here on this game catalog, and there's no time to play them all. And I have a list. I have a notepad. I have a list of all these games I want to play. and there's no way I'm gonna play them all. And some of them just get taken off. So it's like Stray, for example. Stray was on PS Plus Extra for a while, and I put it off for a while, and then I started playing it because they announced they were gonna take it off. I was like, oh dang, I better play it. And I got like a couple hours in. I wanted to keep playing it, but then it went off the catalog. It got taken off, so I couldn't finish it. And then so now I'm like, oh, I kind of want to play it, but I don't want to play it enough to buy it, you know? And so maybe I'll get it when it's on sale at some point. But maybe not, because I don't know, this PlayStation Plus thing has it's kind of soured me on the whole thing, you know? Like I'm pretty sure I'm done with PlayStation Plus Extra. Like if there's a game I really want to play, I'll just do what I used to do. Wait for a sale, you know? Maybe I'll get a physical copy and then I'll trade it in later. You know, there's just different things I could do that in the long run I think will still save me money, because I don't play like a bunch of games, you know? I've been playing Elden Ring almost exclusively, you know, last year pretty much, and then this year mostly. And then you know, because of PlayStation Plus, I've been playing some other games. But I, at this point, I don't really think it's worth it. I'm not like, it's not like Netflix or something like that, where like there's a bunch of stuff on there that I can watch in a couple hours. I can watch a series in a few days, in a week, and that's it. But for games take like months to finish, you know. And really, the game industry right now, like the games that are coming out and have been coming out, they're not really made for me, most of them. Like they're usually made for like the typical young men, maybe 20 something, 30 something year old men, and even like younger. You know, a lot of shooty stuff, a lot of gruff, serious heroes, and it's typically bland stuff. And so the games that I am interested in are few and far between, and I might as well just buy them so I can own them, you know, and play them when I want. So that's what I think I'll do. But I do have PlayStation Plus Extra up until March 30th, I think, of next year. So when I can, I will be taking advantage of the catalog and be playing that. So I think I will have stream dates where I just check out what's a new game on PlayStation Plus I can play. Like I've been doing with Sea of Stars, you know. So I'll definitely be playing that. I'll be playing other ones. I'm planning on doing some horror games for October, you know. But yeah, but today they increased the price by $20, $35, $40, depending on the tier. It's kind of egregious. It's kind of really bad, folks. It's not a good look. Let's take a look here, folks. Let's take a look. PlayStation has announced that the PlayStation Plus 12-month plan options will have their price increased. So their essential tier is now $80. It used to be $60 for a year. Their extra, which is what I'm currently on, is now $135 a month US. Used to be $100. Premium, which includes like classic games, it's kind of a scam. Classic games, and you can stream games, and you can game trials. That's now $160 a year. I think it used to be $120 or something like that. So yeah, that one went up by $40. So that's a lot, folks. An extra $40. I mean, you would think that they would increase it maybe $10 more or something like that. And I think Game Pass has also increased their prices, which is the competing service for Xbox. I think the premium is still a little cheaper than the top Game Pass offering. But Game Pass offers first party games on day one, like Starfield, for example. So there's more value with Game Pass, I think, right now. But I don't know. A lot of people are angry about it. It's, of course, $40 increase is trash. That's so much, et cetera, et cetera. A bunch of disappointing negative comments on this Reddit thread. Um, yeah, I've decided to turn off my renewal. I had it on because I thought maybe I would just go ahead and renew extra, but I don't want to be charged $135. No, thank you. So I'm gonna wait for a Black Friday deal. It's inevitably gonna come. To stick with PlayStation Plus Essential because yes, I have to play. I have to pay it to play online, and I do want to have that ability to keep playing. I mean, the DLC for Elder Ring is coming out. I spent, I invested a lot of time in that game on my PlayStation, so it's like I gotta do it. That's how they get you. Silly, silly Sony. Um, so the DLC's coming out, and I'm gonna be playing that next year, and maybe some people are saying it's coming out at the end of this year. So I'll still be playing it for at least another year after that. So hopefully it'll be a good discount. But the thing is, with it now being $80, the discount will probably be will make it back down to $60. So it's as if like there was no discount. And I don't know if that was like their math was like, oh, like people are just getting the PlayStation Plus on discount every year and they're paying $40 or something, 40, $30. So let's just raise the price. That way, even with the discount, they'll be paying 60. That's what they thought, and that's what they're thinking. And that's what's gonna happen, I guess. But they've successfully turned me off from extra, you know. So maybe they'll see a dip in numbers, but I don't think they will. I think they saw like, you know what? Most people are just not gonna uncheck the auto renew function, and they're just gonna be automatically paying without realizing. And most people are gonna just go with it. And the thing is that like uh, their plan seems to be just to get more money from the people already using the service because I don't think they're seeing that much growth in their PlayStation Plus members. I think they reached the peak. And so now what they're doing is like, okay, well, we're not getting much growth. So we're just going to charge the already existing people who are paying more. And that's what, all subscription services do really, like Netflix, Amazon, whatever, not Amazon, because Amazon's a little different. Because they have, that includes like their 2-day shipping. I don't know, but most services increase, every few years or so, right? And what Netflix is doing now is also they added ad tiers and stuff with ads, a bunch of different things they're doing. But basically, they have to gouge more from their existing users because the growth is slowing. Because most everybody who wants Netflix has it pretty much, most everyone. And there's so many streaming services out there that people are just choosing to subscribe to one or two and maybe dropping it for a couple months and then using another one. I imagine piracy is becoming even more of a thing now. So the goal for most of these businesses is, okay, let's rely on our existing customers and charge them more. It's disappointing. It's disappointing. But I guess that's the capitalist hellscape we live in, right? Just one aspect of it. Of course, there's a lot more dire things in video games, but this is what we're talking about right now, aren't we? Real scum tactics for real. 35% price increase for extra. Fuck right off. And all these comments are of no concern, I think, to Sony. Yeah, that's the deal, folks. Yep, they are totally milking us. Mesa behind you. Thanks for joining us here. Like I said, I'm just gonna stick with Essential for next year. I have it until I think the end of March. That's when my PS Extra runs out, and I'll just stick with Essential because unfortunately you have to pay to play online, and I do like play online, so I'm gonna have to fork up. Nope, it is not stimulating at all. But yeah, so that's the latest on Sony milking us. And now we're gonna transition to what I've been watching, which is the latest episode of Ahsoka. Ahsoka, folks, I talked about this last week, right? We watched episode 1 and 2. Pretty cool. I wasn't super hot on it. It was okay, but now by episode 3, I'm actually digging it a lot more. Have you been liking it, Mesa behind you? I think it's more traditional Star Wars than Andor, which was pretty. It was Andor was like kind of like more of a prestige drama that happened to be set in Star Wars universe, and I really enjoyed that. So this kind of goes back to more of the lightsaber action adventure style of Star Wars, and I don't know. I think it's growing on me even more. I think with episode 3, I think this we're the story's really starting to pick up now. I like how colorful it is. I'm invested on the characters. Oh yeah, live action Sabine. Yeah, I think Sabine is probably the highlight of the series. Like, it almost feels like the show should have been called Sabine, instead of Ahsoka. Because it's Ahsoka is like she's like she's like in the teacher role, and she's like always stoic and like kind of aloof, kind of monkish, and it's not as interesting as someone like Ahsoka, or even like Hera, who I thought was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, she's a Mandalorian, so Sabine should have a jetpack, right? She had. I didn't watch Rebels, but I saw clips. I think she had jetpack in the Rebels show. It'd be cool to see some jetpack action. Yeah, yeah. I guess Rosario Dawson's notes from the director was like, well, now Ahsoka's older and wise. She's in her 40s, whatever. We gotta like tone down her playful side, which I guess kind of makes sense. But you'd think that like she's kind of just feels like every other Jedi. I just wish it would give her a little bit more personality to differentiate her. But let's take a look at the episode. I'm gonna go through episode 3. I'm gonna put the spoiler tag on, just to like run through and see and what I to remember some of my thoughts as we go along through it. Directing the next one. Didn't he direct? Are you talking about the next movie, or he's directing? He's I think he's directed all these episodes so far. All right, let's switch. Let me put the title up. He directed the pilot. Episode 2 and 3 are by. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, it's actually on this wiki. Yeah, he directed the pilot. He wrote. I think he's written all of them, right? Yeah, he's written all the episodes, but he's only directed the first one. And on Wikipedia it says he's gonna direct episode 5. Peter Ramsey's episode 4, according to Wikipedia here. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a big follower of the Filoni. Like I said, I haven't watched the animated series that much, but I think he's pretty decent job. He's done a decent job so far on this show. Let's see. Okay, so we start off at okay. So Sabine's like getting up from her wound here, or I think this is like last time actually, previously on. Yeah, that's the previously on segment. Okay, this is kind of cool. I like the whole training montage. Like, you can see that they're pretty much doing like what you would see like in maybe a samurai film or an anime where like the student is training. Also like maybe like what you would see in the Matrix or something. Like the new warrior character has to go through the training montage first. Yeah, she has a cool outfit for sure. And I was thinking like, since this is like an episodic series, like it'd be kind of cool if we had like a whole episode of her just training in different environments and stuff. But I guess they want to keep the story going. But that's something like you could do with a series. Like you could, make even a bottle episode of her just training. But maybe they'll sprinkle it out throughout the series of her training. But again, this is kind of like, you could probably say it's a little bit cliche, the idea of like, okay, the master is training the student and you got to be blindfolded. Like you kind of seen this scene a lot in a lot of like samurai martial art films, etc. Like you have to like listen and be cautious and stuff like that. There's also like, I was wondering if there was like if there's a body double here. It could be that she's just flexing her muscles, but like at some points it feels like that's a different, like it's a body double, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just like, I feel like sometimes her arms and muscles and her shoulders look a little broad, but maybe it's just because how she's posing. But I thought that was interesting. Like right there, like is that even the same actress? I don't know. But yeah, so we got the training montage, and that's just like the cold opening, and then we get into the space stuff. Hera, I think Mary Elizabeth Winston's doing a really good job as Hera. Like, I'm really into this character. Like I said, I feel like most every other character is like doing a better job than Ahsoka in terms of like, I'm actually interested in what they're saying and just like their presence is a lot more engaging, I think. Yeah. And then we got Mon Mothma here. We've seen her in a lot of the movies. She was in Andor. I think so. This take place. This is after Andor because this is after Return of the Jedi, right? Um, so yeah. So now they're like, I guess like everyone's like, kind of like all like, oh, the war's over. We don't need to worry about anything. And Hera's like, but Thrawn is gonna come back, and no one wants to believe her. I think she does an effective job here of or at least Mary does an effective job of demonstrating like hey, listen, this is serious. But of course they don't listen. And I thought maybe Mon Mothma would kind of fight for Hera a little more. She seemed like the most understanding out of all these senators here. And she was like, "Oh, we'll talk," but then later she reveals that they didn't do anything. So I was kind of hoping for like maybe a little scene with Mon Mothma, you know, fighting, like, cause she in Andor, she was like the only senator that was actually fighting for the rebels, right? So I was hoping to see more of that here. Like, is Mon Mothma now more jaded? Now she's like, kind of like, okay, I'm done with the war. I'm done with all that. Like, I'm just relaxing as a senator. Doesn't have to deal with that anymore. I don't know. We don't see too much of her. And then here's Hera's kid. So I did see. I spent some time watching like a recap on what happened on Rebels, and so I think at the end of Rebels, Hera's revealed to have a kid with another character that like died off in the series. Not sure if we'll see more of the kid. And then we go back to Ahsoka and Sabine. You thought Andor was an enjoyable nap. It's there was like less action. There was less like it was more about the politics of it all. I thought I thought it was great. I mean, I think it's maybe the best thing from Star Wars, but I'm also like not a super Star Wars geek, so it was kind of like made more for me than for Star Wars fans. But it felt like, like I said, it felt more like a political thriller that happened to be in Star Wars, in the Star Wars universe. And it reminded me a lot of like, older war films like Battle of Algiers, or different like just political dramas that focused more on like, everyday people versus like Jedi and stuff. So I thought that was interesting. But I do like, I do like the fun action side of Star Wars too. And I think that so far Ahsoka is providing some of that for us here. Sloppenheimer. I haven't watched Oppenheimer yet. I do want to get around to it when it comes out at home. So yeah, so then we got this scene. Sabine wants to like get her training going faster. She's like, we gotta, and Ahsoka's like, no, you gotta. That's not how it works. You gotta have patience. More stuff about, I guess here, like they're still waiting on whether Hera gets the resources they want. Oh shit, the player just froze. Hold on, let me reset this. I gotta, sometimes this happens where it doesn't register. Okay, so Oh yeah, she's trying to use the Force here. And of course she can't. I think there's like a trailer where she's fighting, where Sabine's fighting the main Sith rival, and she holds out her hand, and like that kind of indicates, okay, is that the moment where she's gonna use her Force for the first time? But right now she can't move a cup. And then yeah, so here then they're like, okay, they're not getting the resources they want, and they just have to go in solo to find Thrawn and Ezra. And then we got this cool space fight here. I thought this was pretty cool because, first of all, dogfights in space are awesome. But the cool thing here is that Ahsoka actually gets out, like goes out outside on top of the ship. She like puts on her spacesuit, and I don't think I've seen that. Um, the robot's a better actor than Ahsoka. Maybe that's a you can argue that for sure. Um, so yeah, so that she puts on a suit and like, have we ever seen like space battles like or like a Jedi or anybody like on out in space in the vacuum of space and just fighting in space? Like I remember in what was it, Last Jedi, Princess Leia got like flew out into space because the ship exploded or whatever, and she like was used the Force to like move herself back into safety. But she was floating in space for a while. That's the only thing I can think of. But really, like a lightsaber fight in space would be cool to see, right? I mean, it's a little bit small scale. It's just like a small little scene. You've seen it in Clone Wars and Rebels. Okay. Oh, okay. I see. Well, this is the first live action I've seen of it in live action. But yeah, it's pretty cool. She like use her lightsabers to take down the starfighters or whatever spaceships. Um, this could have been expanded. That would be cool to expand that scene and have a longer sequence. But that was still pretty cool. And then we get to the whales, which is a pretty cool idea. Beat Saber in space, yep. Um, and so I don't think we've seen these whales in live action before, right? So we've only seen this in the cartoons, and I think it's a pretty cool idea. The idea of like these huge animals that traverse through space, like that's a pretty neat idea. I haven't really seen much. Like I like when Star Wars or any sci-fi really just expands and like explores these different areas and these different animals, these different species that we don't really see much of. Like it just makes the universe a lot richer and a lot more interesting, besides just focusing too much on humans or too much on just the typical stuff. um yeah, Grogu sees a shadow of the space whale. Okay. Yeah, I watched Mandalorian. But those are one of the shows that like I kind of just forget about. Like they kind of like they go in one ear out the other type of thing. Like I kind of forgot most of season 3 of Mando. Like I couldn't tell you what happened in it. um, but this is a cool planet. So they escape. They lose them in the whale herd, and this guy here. I saw a video. Like people were saying that this could be Ezra. Like he became like he joined the dark side and now is wearing this mask. Like I don't know. It feels a little bit. I don't quite buy that. Again, I didn't watch the series, so I didn't follow his story arc or his character arc that much. But it just feels a little odd. Like oh, suddenly the the main guy you're looking for, the good guy, is now a bad guy. Like they would have to explain that really well for that to work. Yeah, brainwash them. Yeah, they have to brainwash them. Like I don't know. It would seem like a cheap reveal or something, but who knows? Um, Star Wars has done a lot of cheap things in the past, right? um, But yeah, so and then it pretty much ends around here, right? This episode was only like 36 minutes, or something like that, 34 minutes. So it kind of ended right when I was like excited to see what was happening. I was like, oh shit, now they're gonna go. I guess they're gonna chase them in the forest and stuff. I don't know, but and that's where it ends. Uh, so yeah, it kind of ended a little bit prematurely. But again, it's a episodic series, so they're yeah, like they give you a little bit of a cliffhanger there to kind of just get you to come back next week. I think there's what is it, 8 episodes? Yeah, 8 episodes total. So we're close to halfway there. But I am interested in seeing what happens next. So the last couple episodes were cool. Like I actually rewatched the last episodes again before this one, because the first time around I was kind of like not fully paying attention, but I'm actually liking the direction it's going. It's not like the politics of it is kind of like not super into it. It's more of the action. It's more of an actiony series, I think. And a lot of people like that, and I think it's working well so far. Like it did start off like slowly a little bit, and hopefully Ahsoka can actually grow a little more and like have more of maybe we can see more of her light side later on. I don't know. We'll see. It doesn't seem like she'll be changing too much, but we'll see. I do want to see more of Sabine. I want to see more of Hera. The new Inquisitors, the Ray Stevens, I think is his name. He's like a cool character, and his Padawan, they're pretty cool. I want to see more of the Padawan actually. She doesn't get too many lines, but I imagine there'll be like some kind of climactic battle with her versus Sabine and stuff later on. So you get great politics and rebels with Thrawn studying the origins and art of planets and conquer. Yeah, I hear Thrawn is a really good like villain character. I wonder if we're gonna see much of him in this season. If they're gonna expand it to season 2, where that's when we'll have more Thrawn. I know they're working on a movie that's gonna come out, so I would bet they're probably gonna milk this, and like Thrawn will probably appear in the last episode or something, and then that'll be the tease for the season 2. And then that will lead into the movie, the Thrawn movie, where he's the big bad. I don't know. Where Thrawn at? Yeah. Or it could be like the road to Thrawn, and then you see him in the movie instead of the show or something. I don't know. Like I feel like this is more of a tease for future Star Wars. But we'll see. We still have a bunch of episodes left. Like we have, like 5 episodes left. So a lot can happen. We'll see. So yeah, I mean, overall, it's pretty good. Like I'm definitely more into it than Mandalorian. It's definitely much better than Obi-Wan, which I know a lot of people didn't like, including myself. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. And yeah, those are my thoughts generally about the show so far. I'll probably talk about episode 4 next week. Yeah, Obi-Wan felt like a parody.